Today we're off to Old Oaks near Glastonbury, but first we're going to stop off in Burnham. We've brought my van as well to make it easier to go on day trips, and also because we'll be heading in different directions when we come to the end of our stay at Old Oaks. We couldn't resist a fry-up at the Bayview Cafe, and then a cheeky sundae while we watch the final of the Women's World Cup. So guys, we are back at Old Oaks and it is looking as good as it was when we stayed here earlier in the year. If you haven't watched our video campsite review and tour, then do watch it. I will put a link in the description. But yeah, just arrived and glad we're here again so far. As we were staying for longer this time, we were able to explore a bit more of what Old Oaks has on offer. For example, this pretty fishing lake. We stayed on a superior pitch this time. I'm not sure whether the butterfly is included in the price, but it was a regular visitor. The fact that there's a food offer every night is one of the things that appeals to us. We availed ourselves of Indian night and it didn't disappoint. The site is also host to a really well-stocked shop and we had a good browse around there. We even borrowed a bat detector. Good morning from Old Oaks. We had a really good night last night. It was lovely and quiet, which if you've seen our last campsite review videos, you'll know isn't always the case. But yeah, it was lovely last night. We did have a bit of a pre-bed incident. We were just popping out to let the dogs have a final snuffle around before bedtime and discovered a massive hornet in the motorhome. Unfortunately, we're not seasoned enough YouTubers to capture all of that and the ensuing panic and rescue mission on film. But suffice to say, there was sort of a lot of silent squealing because it was probably about, I don't know, 10:30, 11:45, so we didn't want to wake everyone up by shrieking like we might have done if it had been in the daytime. But you'll be pleased to know that Kerry was very brave, managed to evict the hornet or whatever it was, chucked it in a glass, well, a plastic glass with a magazine across the grass behind us in the hope that that would evict it somewhere away from the wagon, and that did work. So after a thorough check of every single bit of soft furnishing in the moho, we were then able to get to sleep. But yeah, let's hope we don't relive that today. So today I think we're off into Glastonbury this morning just to have a quick walk round, go and get ourselves a breakfast at Farah. Probably won't film too much in there today because we've already done a video on Glastonbury. I will put a link in the description to that if you want to go and watch that. But yeah, if we spot anything unusual or exciting or different to what we filmed last time, we'll capture that for you and share it with you. Had a bit of excitement earlier when we were in Glastonbury. I just had a little wander around the shops while Kerry sat in the van with Archie. I took Sandy with me, which was an interesting experience, but she did quite well actually. First time she'd been into some shops, and apart from growling at a man in a bookshop, I think it was generally a success. But anyway, in the car park where we'd parked the van, there was a car with a dog in it, and it was quite a hot day, well, quite hot at the point that we were there, and it was in full sun. I only had the windows cracked open a little bit, so we were quite concerned about that, as were some other people in the car park. So we sort of monitored it for a while, and then eventually called the police, who were actually really good, came along and sorted it out. So yeah, if you ever find yourself in that situation, the police will take you seriously, and they were really good. The next day we did very little. We hung around the campsite, Kerry tried out Breakfast Club, and then we took a walk up the Tor at sunset. We made use of the pitch's fire pit and then hunkered down for the night. Good morning everyone from Portland. We've headed down here just because it's somewhere that we've never been before. Seen it a few times on other people's YouTube channels and thought that looks worth checking out. And it was relatively straightforward to get here from Glastonbury. It took us about an hour and a half, I think, and we could not have picked a better day for it. It was actually quite foggy when we got up at the campsite this morning, but as you can see, there's none of that now. It's wall-to-wall blue skies, a few sort of fluffy clouds, but yeah, so far so good. Managed to park okay as well, plenty of spaces when we arrived, which was about 10:30. So again, that's really good because it is the summer holidays at the moment, so we did think that might be difficult. And free public toilets as well. The parking's quite expensive, but to be honest, we probably won't stay here that long. We want to explore a bit more of Portland, so yeah, don't mind paying for a little stay. Wow, the sea is an amazing colour. Deep, fast flowing, cold and deadly. As well as the amazing colour of the sea, the blue skies and the very barren rocky landscape that surrounded it made us think that we were somewhere abroad like Greece. And the scorching weather did nothing to disabuse us of that notion. We could have stayed here a lot longer, but because it was very hot and there wasn't any shade for the dogs, and we wanted to check out more of Portland, we decided to head off. We stopped briefly at the viewpoint overlooking Chesil Beach before heading to a slightly unusual destination. Yes, that's right, our next port of call was in fact a prison cafe to be precise. We'd seen great reviews for this place online, and we thought we'd come and check it out. The views are amazing, and also the breakfast was pretty good too. It's also a really good initiative because it helps low-risk prisoners who are coming to the end of their sentence to gain skills and opportunities at working somewhere, so that it gives them the best chance of rehabilitation when they do get out. Turns out there was even a prison goat. Then it was time to head back to the mainland, and we decided to take a quick drive through Weymouth to see what that was like. But you can't put a pin between them, can you?
And then I saw it in the evening, and then you said without a warning that you need someone to believe in. 'Cause it hurts whenever I stay. Is there another way? But it hurts even more when I go. You gotta let me know. Yeah, it hurts whenever I stay. Is there another way? But it hurts even more when I go. I'm screaming out. I'm screaming out. It's not love, it's a trap we've fallen. Just like the war we fought in. Not love, it's a trap we've fallen. It's not love, it's a trap we've fallen. Just like the war we fought in. Not love, it's a trap we've fallen.
Look at these houses.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's so epic. I bet that costs, well, it's probably apartments, isn't it? Oh, the Sea Life Centre. This is where I used to drag my parents when we were on holiday in Bournemouth. That's why my dad will always like bang on about the traffic down here. So we had to drive from Bournemouth. Well, not in the 1990s there wasn't. Wow. There's Ramo there as well. On our journey back to the campsite, we stopped briefly to look at the Cerne Abbas giant before taking Sandy for a run around in the dog exercise area. Unfortunately, Archie's back leg was still giving him a bit of jip, so he wasn't able to join us, which was a real shame because he does love it in here. Once Sandy was suitably exhausted, we saddled Archie up and took him for a little walk round campus too, and then we headed out for a nighttime exploration. So it is a bit dark because we're out at twilight. Thank you, that's very helpful from the lighting operator, because we have borrowed something that I think is pretty amazing from the campsite reception, and that is a bat detector. Pretty good, that. A magenta bat for precision, no less, which means absolutely nothing to us. But apparently you set it to 45 kilohertz because that's what the common bats use as their frequency to communicate, and then it turns it into sound that humans can hear. So we're going to give it a whirl. I'm not sure we've got any bats at the moment, but there's certainly something going on up the top with some bongos and stuff. It was maybe more than 10 metres away.
Yeah.
But there was definitely one right over there. Definitely. We've just heard one. That's just interfered.
That's that cricket.
Was that clicking before? That was a bat.
Yeah, that was true.
Whereabouts?
Just sort of dive down there. So.
It's amazing. There it is, I saw it.
Yeah, that was what we heard.
Yeah. Wow. There it goes. It's flying right around here.
I think it's a good spot.
Yeah. We might illuminate a mural, maybe. There it is. There she goes. And so with that excitement, our stay at Old Oaks came to an end. The next morning we convoyed back to the M5. I took a left and headed down to Devon, there'll be a video about that shortly, and Kerry and the dogs turned right and took themselves to Weston for the day. We hope you've enjoyed this video and coming along with us on our trip. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.